There we are. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and potential Toastmasters. Welcome to the show. My name is Ken Richardson. I am the District 115 Club Growth Director and the host of Wake Up with Toastmasters. My co-host is the lovely Phyllis Tribby, Distinguished Toastmaster and past District Governor. Good morning, Phyllis. How you doing?
Good morning, Ken. Good morning to our viewers. I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing today, Ken?
Doing better. I'm getting over a cold, so I'm just still a little bit coughy, but I've been tested twice for COVID, negative both times. I've had all 3 shots and a flu shot. So I'm about as protected as you get, and I still got a cold. So anyway, our guest today, we're so pleased coming to us and joining us all the way from Australia is Lou Beaton. And Lou is with Jackpot Toastmasters. And tell us, Lou, how did you get interested in Toastmasters in the first place?
Well, good morning, Ken, and good morning, Phyllis, and good morning to all the viewers. My story is a little different to most people. So I was actually walked out on by a husband of 20 years. So I was kind of trying to find a new life, working out what to do. I had to kind of start again in a sense. And I went to this little club in the southwest of Sydney, and I had 1 foot in the door, and I turned around 1 foot out the door. I thought, this is crazy. It's too early. I'm not up for this. And someone put their hand on my shoulder and said, come on in, we'll take care of you. I think they thought I was upset because of the speaking. It was just everything that was going on. And I'm so glad they did. So 17 and a half years later, I belong to 6 clubs, and I can't imagine my life without Toastmasters. So I didn't come for the usual reasons. Pretty much I came to reinvent myself and to make a new life, and it worked.
Wow, that is actually a terrific story. 17 years, and now you're in 6 clubs. And I know one of them is here in the United States. Where are the rest of your clubs?
So most of my clubs are in Sydney. So I belong to 4 in District 70 called Stage Time, which is Darren LaCroix. It's taken from his catch cry. Stage time, stage time, stage time. He's one of our honorary members. And then I belong to Menai, which is in the south of Sydney, Ingleburn in the southwest, and a very special club called the Exodus Foundation. So that's in a charity for homeless and disadvantaged people. I started that quite a few years ago, and other people run it now, but it's still going strong. I joined another club in District 90. And of course I have in District 115, Jackpot Speakers. Was not expecting to join another club, but fell in love with the club at the first visit and saw the quality of it. So it's been wonderful to belong to an overseas club.
Well, I think it's wonderful. The one thing about Zoom, and we talk a lot about the good, the bad, and the ugly of Zoom, and the good is certainly the international perspective that it gives us. It's just lovely. My club, my home club is Early Risers Toastmasters, and we meet very early in the morning, Wednesday morning, 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. And at our last meeting this past Wednesday, we had a visitor from Uganda. And it was like 5 in the afternoon in Uganda. So it was great to get that different perspective. And I think that makes us, a better club, because we do get a different perspective. We get new ideas, and we sort of forces us to think a little bit outside the box. So I think that's the good part of Zoom.
Definitely.
Yeah, Phyllis, what's your perspective on this?
Well, we talk about Toastmasters making us better listeners, but I believe when you have someone with a foreign accent come to your club, it really enhances the listening power. We had a man from India, and it sounds like he wants to come back and maybe join us. And his words are great, but I really have to listen. And I think that's part of Toastmasters, being able to actually listen and understand what people are saying. So frequently we have our own agenda, and we just keep talking on what we think needs to be said, where we're not listening to what we're being told. So I think it's a great thing. I really enjoy it. Have I gone to any foreign countries? No. Would I like to? Yes. I'm going to get it done, I swear.
On your bucket list. I think that's a good point, because I remember reading that, all of us can hear, but listening is a skill you must develop. And part of the problem is that our brains move faster than our ears. So we're always thinking ahead and trying to anticipate what comes next. When in Toastmasters, we do have to stop and think about, and when I'm mentoring a new Toastmaster, that's one of the things I talk about that's often overlooked, is the ability to listen and how that skill is developed through things like serving as the grammarian, serving as an all counter, and perhaps most importantly, serving as an evaluator. And I know, Lou, that's something that is very near and dear to your heart. And you have, for Jackpot, a special event coming up this Sunday. You want to talk about that a little bit?
We do. The club is putting on an evaluation extravaganza, and I have the privilege of leading a 45-minute workshop. So we'll be looking at, a lot of people are very unconfident about evaluating. They don't trust themselves. And the first part will be about telling them that they've been evaluating all their life. From the time your mother put food in front of you, you told her if you didn't like it, and you told her what you did like. And if you go to the movies with friends, and I was to say to my friends, what did you think of the movie? They wouldn't say, oh, I'm not a screenwriter, I can't evaluate it. They'd simply tell me what they liked. They might say, oh, the plot wasn't real good, but I did like the acting. It's really no different. We've all been doing this a long time, all our life. Toastmasters just teaches us to go deeper and to present it in a way that's really palatable for people to take. So that's the first part, is just to reassure people that they can do this. The second part is about filling up your evaluation toolbox. I'll give them lots of tips and tools. I can't pass on 17 years of studying evaluation in 45 minutes, but I'm going to share all the places I go to learn the things that have helped me. And because you're doing evaluation this year in District 115, I'll be giving some tips for evaluation contests. And I've actually won on Zoom and I've won face-to-face, funnily enough. So I'm kind of experienced in both of those at district level. So hopefully I have some things of value to help and share with people.
Well, tell me a little bit about how the format is going to work. The extravaganza, are you going to have like sample speeches to evaluate, and then sort of dissect how the evaluation was done?
So basically, we're going to have a mock competition. So after my workshop, I think there's 4, maybe 5 people are going to watch a test speaker. I've organized a test speaker from here. So they're going to get to watch. Yes, I hope they can cope with that accent. They're going to, the 4 contestants, it'll just be like a contest. They'll watch, they'll have their 5 minutes to prepare their notes, and they'll come back in. In addition, I will be evaluating their evaluations, just giving them some tips and feedback, recognizing some things they did well, maybe making a couple of other suggestions that I noted that maybe they hadn't. And I think there'll also be a little bit of question and answer time in my presentation as well, if people have things they'd like to know particularly.
Wow, that sounds terrific. I am definitely going to do my best to be there. Phyllis, what about you? Do you have any questions that you want to talk about?
I love what you had to say about you are going to evaluate their evaluations, how critical that is. It's so important. And I find that most general evaluators just skim over it. Oh, they did the sandwich method and they had some suggestions and it was good. But that doesn't really tell the evaluator how they can improve on their evaluation. I know of only one club that I've ever been to that really did an evaluation of the evaluator, and that is Star Masters. The general evaluator must do that right after the evaluation, and it works so well. So I'm happy to hear that the evaluators are going to get feedback. Did they follow the regular process? What could they have done? What did you hear? I love it. Thank you for that. It's a great part of your presentation.
It really is. And it's just, it's fantastic. And I'm curious, what do you consider to be a really good evaluation, Lou? What are the components of a good evaluation?
I think a good evaluation is succinct I think you say it once, you say it well. I think it's a real art form because you can get more into your evaluation that's quality. I think a good evaluation is on point. So it doesn't whitewash. It names the things that the speaker does well accurately, pinpoints them, because I think you can say a lot of things generally, but a good evaluation pinpoints or gives an example of the things that you're praising. And similarly, I like to have at least 2 things. And my golden rule is if the speaker were to get up again straight away, what 2 things would make the greatest difference? I might have 6 things written down, but they can't take all that in. So what 2 things were they to get up and do the speech again could make the biggest difference? And again, it's one thing to say to people, oh, I kind of got a bit lost in your speech. I couldn't quite follow the story. But if you are to say, when you went from the soccer field story to the story of being at home, I missed a transition and I was still at the soccer field. I was just a little bit lost how you got to home, just to pinpoint. I think that sounds a lot to do, but when you do it succinctly, I think you can cover quite a lot. I like to cover what the message, as in inspirational, persuasive, that kind of thing. I like to comment on structure. I usually like to comment on language. It's normally quite a significant thing, or vocal variety, and then try and put those suggestions in as well.
I think that's great. That really puts it more into perspective. Another question that I have for you, I've talked to a lot of Toastmasters who they sort of sometimes go to extremes. They're afraid to be too critical because they don't want to hurt people's feelings. So what tips would you have for the person who says, oh, I don't want to be too harsh or too critical. I just want to give them praise and thank them for speaking?
I think if I were talking to that person who is evaluating, I would say, you're actually missing the chance to really help this person. And my workshop is actually called, I think it's called the gift evaluation, the gift that you can give all year, because you're really giving someone their next promotion. If they don't speak clearly and they go to a job interview and they don't speak clearly, it's going to cost them. Another person going for that position is probably going to shine more. You know, if they're teaching and they're not connecting with their kids in the class, they're not going to be an effective teacher. So I would probably say to them, it's actually a gift that you give, and it's how you package it. You don't go in there like a sledgehammer, oh, you were awful and I couldn't stand listening to you and I had to turn you off and all that sort of thing. I think if you genuinely praise and pick out the good points, and you've given the speaker that confidence that you genuinely appreciate the effort they've made, you can then use language like, I wondered, I'd like to suggest, softer language. You don't sort of come in and say you should or you must, but you can say things like, as I listened, I was just left wondering if perhaps the language had been more descriptive, maybe I would have felt more like I was there. So I can make it almost like a suggestion if I want to soften it, but I don't think we should shy away. If someone is saying 55 times, I know there's an counter, but part of being a good evaluator is having a couple of different suggestions. So some people might say something like, gosh, I've done it as well. Don't be embarrassed. I've done it as well. Everyone in the club often starts like that. This is what we found helps. There's ways to soften the suggestion.
I think that's very good advice. Phyllis, do you have any tips for sort of toning down? I have to tell both of you that I've been in meetings where evaluations were so harsh on the other side of the coin that I just felt so sorry for the speaker, and I don't know if they would ever return to Toastmasters. Has that been ever occurred on your side, Phyllis?
I have. It definitely has. In fact, I have a nephew that they, downed so much in his speech that he wouldn't go back. He said, I don't need to have that happen to me. And he was a person that's an entrepreneur. He really needed Toastmasters to bring him along. But I wanted to mention that I one time had to evaluate someone that did not meet the objectives. And that's kind of hard to do. But I usually start out with, sometime in the evaluation that this is a personal opinion and should be taken as one person's opinion. This is how I felt about the speech. This is what I saw. So always with the personal information. And then when I told this person that how great their speech was, but that it did not meet the objectives, I tried to add things that she could have added to the speech. It was supposed to be humorous. It was not humorous. And I tried to interject different phrases and add-ons that she could have used in some of her sentences that would have put humor into her speech. So we did work with it later on. I asked her if she wanted to work with me, and she redid the speech with some information. Some people think when they're new that what they tell has to be the truth. And this is not a truth contest, this is speaking. So if you need to add things that did not really happen to make your speech humorous, do it. Yeah, add whatever you need to.
I think that's good advice. And I have to say that the humorous contest is always my favorite. In 2016, I won District 33's humorous contest. And it was the speech on retirement. And I had to embellish that quite a bit to really make it funny. Lou, you may have seen me looking over to my left several times. What I'm doing is I'm monitoring our Facebook page, and there is a comment here, because we do get comments, and I want to share them with you. This is from Jennifer Smith, who is our public relations manager, and she says, you should teach the next lesson on evaluation in our educational enrichment night. I don't know if you know that we have that. Are you getting our newsletter?
Yes, I do. Sherry Parker sends them all out to me.
Wonderful. I'm
all
so glad to hear
me.
that.
And I follow you on social media too.
Oh, good, good. Well, you may have noticed that we do have an educational enrichment night. It's the second Saturday of every month. And one of the programs that Jennifer suggested is that maybe you could do a class on evaluations. So tuck that in the back of your mind. I don't know. It's like
something for you, and I think it was evaluation. I think I've done one for you.
Have you? Okay.
I've done so many workshops around now, but I'm pretty sure I came to one of your, because I have definitely, because I have some names from that, and they wanted to know when Jackpot would do one. So I've actually done one for you on evaluation. So
we may have to have a repeat, because good information is something that you want to share and repeat over and over again. And I think that it's clear that you have looked, what got you so interested in the evaluation side? Because it's clear that you have done a lot of thought, you've done a lot of research on how to really do evaluation. What sparked your interest in that?
Well, I love competing. So I think I have had the most success in the evaluation contest. And I'll tell you a true story. I'm not proud of it, but I'm going to tell you the true story. So I tried for 12 years to win a district contest, and I was the perpetual bridesmaid, always second or third. And I decided, I think I had been in it 3 times, and everybody was saying to me, this is your moment. This is your year. You're going to get this. And stupidly, somewhere between, I was speaker number 6, and somewhere, it's just, I can't even tell you how bad this is, between speaker number 4 and 5, because I wanted to win, because my focus was not on the speaker, but on winning, I decided that I would theme my evaluation like a recipe. Now, it is the stupidest thing I've ever done. And so I said things like, it needs a dash of this and a cup of that. And I probably did a pretty good job. But when I got to the summary, I could not remember what my 2 suggestions were. And in the end, I stopped and I said, you know what? I've made this about me, and I'm sorry to the speaker. Let me give you the evaluation I should have. I went way over time, but I had to make up for what I had done. And that was the best thing ever happened. Not at the time. It was awful in front of 400 people.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but you know what? I realized that was the turning point, and you can't try and win these things because it's always got to be about the audience. So it was actually the greatest gift that I could ever get. And it was pretty hard to fight back because, you've got to win club, area, division. And I came second the next year. And I reckon I was the happiest second place getter on the planet. because just to fight back from that mess to winning the second place, I was very happy. And I say to everybody, if you're trying to win contests, it's not the way. You have to, that's like a bonus. What you really want to do is serve your audience. Your focus can't be on a trophy. It has to be, and especially in evaluation, it has to be 100% on giving the speaker the best encouraging feedback, valuable feedback you can. And I learned that lesson the hard way. And it took me a few more years, but eventually it's funny, I'll tell you, I didn't even look at the trophy for a couple of years. When I went to the contest, I wouldn't even look at the trophy. And when I won it in 2018, I picked up the trophy. I wouldn't put it down for about an hour. And when I looked down, it's dedicated to a man called Graham Samuels. And I went, you're kidding. I'd forgotten. He was the one who taught me how to evaluate.
Wow.
Yeah, it was in his memory. So it was a really lovely moment. And I think if I could say one thing to people competing, don't try and win. Don't try too hard. Just try and do your strongest, most encouraging, helpful evaluation. That's what it's all about. The winning is nice, but it's being a good evaluator that lasts. I mean, the trophy is a wonderful thing and it's great to have done that. But the reality is now what really counts is that I can serve my club members. I can come to Jackpot and encourage other people to evaluate well. I'm passionate because that's the cornerstone of Toastmasters. In my opinion, it's the cornerstone.
I agree. That's very well said. And I do want to mention Jennifer has another comment here. She said, actually, Toastmasters International Pathways learned a lot about evaluation from you. So that's quite a compliment that you have had an impact all the way from Sydney to the United States to Colorado and Toastmasters Internationals. And we thank you for that. So tell us, we're close to getting to the point where we're going to switch over and talk about some announcements. Tell us a little bit more about how we can get folks to the event. Do they need to pre-register? What's going on with that?
We have a recurrent link at Jackpot. So it's Sunday afternoons, 1 p.m. Pacific time, Las Vegas time. If they go to your District 115 Facebook page or the Jackpot Speakers Facebook page, the ad is up there with the details to contact for the link. Otherwise, I can tell you, I can put it in the chat later for you. It's Lou Beaton. So it's my name, LOUBEATON at bigpond.com. And I'll happily send them the link. I'm the VPM there, so I'm happy to send out the link and some information as well.
Excellent. So if you can do that in chat, I will make sure that we get it posted on the Facebook page, and we'll make sure that everybody knows how to get in touch. So thank you so much. What time is it in Australia, by the way?
It's about 1:30 in the morning, Friday now.
Oh my goodness.
I'm a young tomorrow.
Oh, thank you so much for getting up and joining us. It's very, very much appreciated. I want to remind our viewers that you can join us every weekday, Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. here at Wake Up with Toastmasters. Now, normally on Mondays and Fridays, your host will be Jean Williams, who is our Program Quality Director. On Wednesdays, Jennifer Smith, our Public Relations Manager. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Phyllis and I will be your hosts. We do cover for one another, so you never know who might show up. I think Phyllis and I are covering tomorrow, and I'm not sure, but I think Jean will be back in the saddle on Monday. We do have coming up on December 11th. If you'll check your newsletter, we have Educational Enrichment Night. Starts at 6 p.m., goes to 8 p.m., and there are all kinds of wonderful classes that you can take. If you're new to Toastmasters, you can come to new member orientation. You can come to an introductory course on pathways. So hopefully you will join us. And finally, one thing that is a little bit unusual is we are holding game night actually on January 1st instead of in the end of December, the last Saturday in December. So that's a little bit different. And I asked Jean, how did that come about? And she just polled the folks who routinely attend game night, and they said, well, let's just do it on New Year's Eve. So it'll be like a mini New Year's Eve party. So I want, anything else, Phyllis, that you want to, did I leave anything out? Let's see if I see anything from Jennifer.
Start the new year with Toastmasters. This is the time for Christmas parties. And I think that they can find many to go to if they go to Facebook and look on the D115 Facebook page. They're being advertised throughout our area. So
yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because some of them are in person.
Mhm.
I attended last night HEB Speakeasy, and they had an ugly sweater contest. So I got to wear my ugly sweat. It's actually a sweatshirt, but it's pretty ugly. So that was a lot of fun.
And they're so cute.
Yeah, and then we have so many that are online this year.
Mhm.
And I think, can't remember who it is, but it's another dress up party, but that's on our D115 Facebook page. The other thing that's coming up next week on the 15th is Benchmark Toastmasters is conducting a table topics marathon contest, if you will. So if you'd like to know more about that, you can go to our Facebook page, or you can email me at d115cgd@gmail.com. Want to thank everyone for tuning in today. Thank you, Jennifer, for your comments. This will be recorded and placed on the Club Growth Director Facebook page, so you can view it anytime to get the tips from Lou. And we're happy that you're with us today, and we will say goodbye. Any last minute thoughts, Lou, that you'd like to share with the group?
Embrace evaluation. Embrace it. It's the most tremendous gift. Work at it, apply it, and give it as freely as you can. It changes lives.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Phyllis, any final words to our viewers?
Have a wonderful day. We'll see you in the morning.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for attending. We're going to sign off, and we will see you on Wake Up with Toastmasters tomorrow. It'll be Phyllis and I once again. Have a great day, everyone.